All right, so I just wanted to take this time to go through some of the settings we've got in our car because a lot of you have asked what our particular setup is like. So first things first, you can see that we love the satellite view. So this is what you get when you pay for premium connectivity. And when you're driving around the countryside, it's really handy because you find that there's all these things around you that you wouldn't normally see with that basic sort of Google view. So satellite maps is definitely a must for us, and also having the live traffic view is really helpful. But if we jump into our car settings, straight off the bat, you can see that we've got auto high beams on. That has seen a massive improvement recently. So it's great to just now know that the car is going to handle the high beams on country roads and switch them off as soon as it sees another vehicle. It does that perfectly, whereas a few months ago, it was not the case. So have that on all the time. We've obviously got dash cam recording all the time, which I'd assume everyone would be. With Sentry mode, for whatever reason, that's been switching off automatically for us lately. I think because we've been playing around with the app for other YouTube videos. So I've just turned that back on. Sentry mode is obviously very useful. We do have that set to not record at certain locations, be it home, work, when the car is in a garage, in a safe space, switch that off. So that's an automatic setting. If we jump into pedals and steering, we can see acceleration is to standard, but for the first time over this past week, I've actually had mine set to chill. I've never tried this, but Cooper was getting a little bit car sick in the back, so I thought maybe that would help. And it actually is a really nice, pleasant way to drive the car. It's not a massive difference, but you're just not going to get the jolty acceleration that you would on standard mode. So for anyone that has kids or dogs and hasn't tried chill mode, definitely worth trying that out. Steering mode, we've got to comfort. We actually took a bit of time to get used to how heavy the steering is in a Tesla versus like our previous Mazda. And even on comfort, it still feels relatively heavy. So going into standard and then sport is just like, we would never go to that territory. Stopping mode is on hold, which allows for that one pedal driving, which is an absolute game changer once you get used to it. I would recommend everyone try to put it on the hold setting for the most efficiency. If you do want the car to act like a conventional car, obviously creep is when it's going to continue to move when your foot is off the accelerator. So it's a little bit weird for us coming from, well, for us being so used to the hold feature. Jumping into charging, we're always charging back up to 100% because this is an LFP battery. We are just charging using a standard power point, which is why you can see the 16 amps coming in. We have been playing around with the scheduling settings, so like off-peak electricity rates, things like that. So you can toggle that as you like. You can see here, we're still not paying for supercharging, which is amazing. So thank you to everyone that's used my referral code. You can also get free charging if you use someone's referral code. So I'll leave that below. Autopilot, auto steer, obviously a game changer again. We use this all the time. It's going to take people, that new owners, a bit of time to get used to, but it does a very good job. It's still obviously in beta, but very, very useful on long road trips. Full self-driving visualization is going to just show you traffic lights, rubbish bins, construction cones, things like that, and that will get better in time as Tesla and their auto labeling software gets better. Set speed, well, this is an interesting one. Some people will prefer to have set speed to current speed. So if you turn on adaptive cruise control or you turn on autopilot, it's just going to set at the speed you're currently doing. We like having it, well, sometimes. I wish you could toggle this easier, but yeah, it's useful to sometimes turn on autopilot and it's going to increase to the current speed limit. So if you're doing 85 in 100 zone, you turn on autopilot, it's going to then go to 100. So it can be useful. It can also be sometimes not what you want, but yeah, you got to choose between the two. Offset, not really as relevant in Australia because we don't tend to really speed. I think Teslas actually show true speed, whereas our old Mazda, you know, we'd be doing 110 on the speedo and it's actually like lower than that, if that makes any sense. I think some of you will know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I believe Tesla, when it says 110, it's actually 110. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments. Automatic blind spot camera, love it. Paige doesn't like it, but I have gotten so used to having this pop up. I'll just give you an example. And then you don't need to head check. You know that the car's already taking control of if there is someone in your blind spot, it's going to warn you. But just having this is really, really helpful. I also like it when merging onto freeways. You can have your indicator on and just kind of see the oncoming traffic. Very helpful. And you can obviously like move that around into various locations. Yeah, and then this just refers to that blind spot warning that we were talking about. Obviously good to have that on. Speed limit warning we've got displayed, so it will just indicate that you are going over the speed limit. You can make that chime if you like, but it can get a bit annoying. Forward collision warning is very useful. The in-cabin camera will actually detect if you're looking away from the road, and there's been multiple times where something has happened in front of us and it will, alert you, and we like to set that to medium. We found when it was on early, it can be a little bit oversensitive. So medium seems to be the right sort of mix for us. Lane departure avoidance, I've got that set to off because on country roads, you are often going over the lines and the car beeps at you and sets all sorts of alarms off. If you've got assist turned on, it will actually correct the steering back into the lane. So yeah, it can be, I get that it's a great safety feature, but it can be very annoying at times. And then with emergency lane departure, we try to remember to turn this off when we're going on a long road trip, because again, this will just stop all of those sounds and warnings as well. But you have to turn that off every time you get in the car. But it's obviously part of the reason that Tesla has some of the best safety software in the world. It's these sorts of features, right? This is why it got the highest rating through European and US standards, was based on this whole camera detection system. Automatic emergency braking, yep, turn that on. All of this stuff I would recommend. Green traffic light chime is really useful when you're not quite in the zone and the lights change, and it's going to just give you a nice little chime. And then if we go into locks, we've got the car will lock everywhere except home for us because it is locked away in a garage. And when I'm filming lots of TikToks and YouTubes, it's nice to just be able to walk into the car and unlock it without a phone or a key card or anything like that. Car left open notifications is amazing because there can be sort of, I think there's a 10-minute period where you'll get a notification on the app to say that a window's been left open, a door's not locked. Really, really useful. You can exclude home, but we like to keep that on. Lock confirmation sound is when the car does a little beep of the horn to just let you know that when you've walked away that the car has locked. I find that really annoying, but some people love that. And close windows on lock was removed and now it's back in the settings again, and Tesla have fine-tuned that to the point where if you were to have your finger or a dog was to be sort of leaning out of the window when the car locked, it's pretty much sensitive enough that the window will come back down. So I believe that's why it was removed for a moment. Lights obviously set to auto. We don't love the ambient lights here in the country because the roads are so dark, so we leave them off. Just the lights in the footwells are not as necessary for us. Auto turn signals is a new feature that I really like. Paige doesn't like, but you get used to it the more that you use it. So basically the camera system will detect if you have changed a lane and it's going to turn off the indicator automatically for you. Jumping into display, appearance is set to auto, so as soon as the sun goes down, this whole screen interface switches into a dark mode. Very useful. The scrolly wheel function, which is new, is just on the left scrolly wheel. You can hold that down and choose which selection you want to come up. And I really love having the camera, I'll hold it down for 3 seconds. Love having the camera come up when I'm parking the car in the garage and I want to see that I'm further enough in. So really like that customization that has just come with a recent software update. Voice navigation language now can be set to British English, which we love because it's recognizing a lot more of the Australian accent than it was before. Text size, great new addition. You can make that large if you wish. I know my parents would probably love that feature. Navigation, I have navigation volume set to 0 at the moment. It's only nice to have the spoken navigation when you're in a really sort of confusing area, but most of the time I'm happy to glance down at the screen rather than have the voice constantly coming up. And then rerouting within 5 minutes. So if there is an accident or something, you can set, how sensitive you want this to be. But you'll notice sometimes when we're driving back to the city, the car's worked out that there is a faster route for us to take, and it's a 5-minute difference. So you can even lower that if you like to 2 minutes. So we're obviously using the live Sentry mode feature within the Tesla app. This is very helpful for dog mode, but it's also helpful in other instances if you want to check what's going on around your car. Saving dashcam clips on honk, which again, there might be instances where you want something to save and you can just honk the horn, or you can just tap the little dash cam icon there, which some people will save to the dock. Pin to drive we have turned off at the moment, but we have put that on in times, and if we've got something important in the glove box, put the pin on. Cabin overheat protection is amazing. I wish every car had this because it would save lots of lives, but essentially once, I think we've got it set to 35 degrees, once the car reaches that temperature inside, the AC kicks in and just cools it down. Gear chimes is a new feature, as you can see. So now when you're changing between different modes, apart from the seatbelt going off, it's going to make little sounds, which is, useful. I think that's a good addition. Joe mode, another classic, but just lowers some of those alert sounds, which is meant to be designed for when you've got kids in the car, but we just like to keep it on all the time. Service, you can see here that the tires are now 42 PSI. This is where you'll find car wash mode, which we do use, and some of these other features. And then the software screen will give you your kilometers. You can see we're close to hitting 20,000. And we have premium connectivity, we have standard autopilot, software is 11.1, software update preference. Please make sure, if you're keen, to select this to advanced. It means that when Tesla pushes out software updates, you'll get them before people that don't have that selected, basically. As for the customization when it comes to this dock, I don't know why we've got phone call in there. That must have been a mistake, but let's put Apple Music. Camera, probably not needed as much now that I've got the shortcut. So yeah, we could chuck Bluetooth in there. We don't use the radio, haven't tried out Zoom yet, but everyone's going to customize this in their own way. And having heated steering wheel, wiper functionality, defrosting is nice to have. So yeah, that gives you an overview of my settings. I don't think that there's anything that I've missed. Tell me if I have. But yeah, hope you found this useful, and I'll see you soon in another video. Thanks for watching.